Werewolves. Men who turn to beasts under the spell of the moon. Now do you believe me?
And there's no getting away from the rules tonight, nor any night.
How is she? Incredibly hairy.
All right, well, it was a strikeout on Sharktopus. Let's see how we feel about a werewolf in England.
Look, I am going to go confess that I was shocked by a werewolf in England. Like, my hope for the movie was minimal, but like I'm a sucker for a low-budget Bigfoot movie, I'm a sucker for a low-budget werewolf movie because I want good werewolf movies. And this movie is not amazing, but it is pretty damn entertaining, I thought. Like, for how lo-fi it is, for how clearly handmade it is, for how, like, embarrassingly they're not super successful at expressing period, you know... They're not this Robert Eggers school of, like, making you get lost tangibly in the history of the film that they're telling. This is about 7-foot-tall werewolf costumes and not very consistently, convincing gore effects. But I have to say, much like Sharktopus, after a point, I just stopped fighting this movie, and I found... I had a big smile on my face, and there's a couple of genuinely jaw-dropping moments in the movie where, like, I could not have predicted that. So I kind of went into this movie ready to laugh at it, and I think in the end, I laughed with it. It's not that it's a comedy, it's that it knows what it is, and it executes what it is very well. I often say on the podcast, what were your goals and how successful were you in reaching those goals? And by that measure, I'm going to call A Werewolf in England a success. It's cheap, it's kind of vile and gross, but it is a success? ... question mark?
Now, the first thing I would like to say about the movie, cutting straight to the point of the werewolves, is that there's a very strange way that the werewolves seem to move and go about themselves. Perhaps both of the actors do it, so perhaps, like, they were told to do this, but they seem to do this, like, these strange, like, knee bends and hand movements and, like, large, like, open arms, almost like they're an idle animation in a video game, some sort of like type of video game character about to be clicked on, who's just like moving back and forth, like ready to, like, doing some sort of motion repeatedly.
Or another way to do this, because immediately after we saw this, Charlotte and I both went up and tormented her mom with our impressions of the werewolves in this movie. And without being able to sort of just recapture it that way, it reminded me of some of the bad rotoscoping in Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. Some people, the overly bendy, twisty, sinuous movement of characters. Somehow, the werewolf costumes were creepy enough looking like costumes. But the movement, we laughed so hard when we saw
I was literally on the floor. They
moved. And that is kind of the key to this movie, which I've learned was apparently intentionally a comedy, by the way. It was trying to make us laugh, and I get the feeling, my verdict on it is, the most I can say is it is somewhere between, and there's a huge area between the weirdness of someone like Tommy Wiseau, who has no idea what he's doing, and a Joel and Ethan Coen who understand. This guy is halfway, a lot of room between The Room and if the Coen brothers made a werewolf movie. But whether it's intentional or unintentional, this filmmaker is different. He thinks about things differently, and from the moment we felt the zany weirdness, and we loved it.
Yeah, I mean, he has his own vibe. And he's not telling jokes. He's not going, look at how ridiculous he is. He's just riding this very specific aesthetic. And if it hits you the right way, you will find yourself laughing as much as you are like, who's going to get it next? Or what's the next bit of exposition? Like, yeah, the character work is kind of clumsy and some of the acting is weird. And yeah, you're right. The floating sort of werewolf effecty, sure. A dude gets shat upon by a werewolf in this movie. I have never seen that in a movie. I don't know why exactly it happens. I don't know what that choice came from. And it's not like addressed or explained. Not that it could be, but I'm just saying that happens in this movie. And it was one of a dozen things that I just couldn't have anticipated. And if you're making a no-budget monster movie, this is where you score points with me. Show me something I haven't seen before. Even if it's really weird, even if it's like super out there, as long as it still fits somehow in the vibe of your movie, great. Bring me that.
Yeah.
Everything that Unearthed wasn't, this movie was.
Yes, I really, that's exactly what I was saying earlier, because, like, for me, what really makes a movie great is not just, like, a character development or story, but, like, nuance, like, show me something new, exactly what you were saying. The way we looked at, some of the earlier movies, they were just aggressively average and generic, and there was nothing like really defining about them, but there was just this feeling about a werewolf in was it England?
Yes.
Werewolf in England that it was just, there was just something so surreal and dreamlike about it, almost like it wasn't like made for our like consumption. It was made for the consumption of some sort of almost human creature who wants to grasp like the humor of like the human race. The way that it was just so like new in that it spoke to me in a way. And especially what I really liked is this certain scene where our one of the blonde main characters, whose name I also can't remember,
Lady with baby, right?
yes, she managed to not only stab a werewolf through the stomach with the flat end of a broken chair leg, but also somehow split through its skull with the also flat end of the cover of a vent, which I found very strange and whimsical, because I wouldn't imagine, like, let's say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine being able to take a painting and being able to split father's skull with it.
And yet she could.
Yes, it was
Someday.
Your father will show you the classic motion picture From Dusk Till Dawn, and you will learn that vampires are made out of soft rubber. You can punch right through them, apparently. I guess every movie has their own rules with which they will go by. But you're right. In some scenes, the werewolves are incredibly intimidating and powerful, and in other scenes they kind of die pretty easy. But I don't think it's that kind of movie. I kind of like the vibe. I also have some good news for you guys, since you seem to like it. There's a sequel called Werewolf Castle. It was released in 2021. I haven't seen it, so I can't vouch for its quality. Same director, so...
Well, the director, Charlie Steeds, he's very prolific, and the people who like this say he's done a lot of other good movies, even though he's actually trying to make those weren't intended to be comical. So there's one called Death Ranch, for example, or The Barge People, about cannibal mutants, and I've seen the trailers. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely... Or Vampire Virus is another one, and I'm very intrigued by these. I would say, to Charlotte's point, I'd go further. That strange... almost human being isn't just the intended audience for this film, it's the maker of this film. I think we were intrigued from the credits, because he chooses these big, puffy, colorful pink and orange credits that make you think 1978, 1979, that don't quite go with anything else. And even though you say there are no jokes, the first time we were thinking, this might actually be good, we're won over. Again, only 5 minutes in, is one of the characters' remarks on how the storm is getting worse. And they're outside. It's a bright, sunny day. And it was just a budget thing, obviously. They wanted to have a line about the storm, but he went with it. The writer, director, editor, costume designer, because he does everything.
Everything.
the everything decided to go with it and just have them make several comments about how bad that storm was getting as they head down the sunny lane, and it was awesome.
There is something to be said, too, about somebody who is able to get their very specific vision on screen. Like, someone else might have directed this script, and it would have looked and felt completely differently. The Coen brothers talk about directing as being sort of guiding and establishing tone, and that's the thing that this guy has. He doesn't have the money, and he doesn't necessarily have, like, amazing actors at his disposal, but he's got a vibe, and I agree with you, Brandon. I am on board. I want to check out some more of this guy's work. Maybe this is the one that, like, laughed louder than the others, but I'm intrigued. And there's just something about this distinctive vision finding the screen. It feels almost like an odd lost 80s movie that's just too weird to exist, right? But it's not. It's a very recent movie. So take away points wherever you want to. Maybe it deserves it, but it makes up those points for personality. Personality goes a long way.
Speaking on the point about the fonts, it kind of, maybe this is just a simple comparison, but like it kind of reminded me of how you use like a graphic design app, and you'd there'd be something wrong with like your cursor, how it deals with the app, how you wouldn't be able to like change like the font, so like you have to go with whatever's given to you.
And that's almost how it felt like he was stuck with a strange default font for his credits.
Yes.
Get to the hell with it.
And yet, I will say, I think I might even like it more than you, Larry, because I will say that I think it had one hell of a story structure. And the reason I say that, you can tell me what you think, Charlotte, by the end I cared about the characters. I actually had come to like the characters. I'd come to care about them and be invested in the stakes by the end. And I think that's got to be story structure that gets us there, because I agree the performances are terrible.
Yes, I'm not really sure if I can completely agree or not, but I have to say, like, by the end, there's, I very vividly remember where, one of the main characters is, on the verge of turning into a werewolf, and his, newfound girlfriend doesn't want him to be shot, and I remember very vividly, the whole time, I was actually very involved in anticipation to see whether this man would get shot or not, to the point that I was running my hands through my hair and yelling, "Just put him out of his misery!" It was, I have to say, in that way, they managed to engage me, so that's, something that a lot of the other movies could not.
It has a bit of a community theater vibe to it, too, but I've done community theater, so I guess I'm also it has an aw shucks quality there as well, and again, like, it's one of those things. Part of the appeal is the wonkiness of the performances, is sort of like the too clean costumes, like that were clearly hanging on a rack in a room for years waiting for someone to wear it, like crisp and new, like the weird echoey quality to some of the interior sound that seems just a little bit amateurish, but also strangely perfect for the movie, like, I don't know. It seems like even when he fails, he wins with this movie. And I think it's deliberately set up to lower your expectations. Even that title, like A Werewolf in England, you feel like this is a mockbuster. This is somebody who's trying to cash in on An American Werewolf in London literally 40 years too late. But, sucker that I am, I picked up a copy, and here I am, selling it to the internet. So, I don't know. There's something smart in amongst all of this insanity, too. Like, he's able to make in his next movie, he's able to get his films made and make a living making Werewolf Castle. And color me jealous, man.
It just occurs to me now, Larry, this director, who, by the way, is much closer to Charlotte's age than ours, this director who is still in his 20s, has made enough films that if you ever want to do a Charlie Steeds themed rank and review, it will already be possible.
Hey, congratulations. I mean, they might not all be A Werewolf in England, but so few movies are, right?
It's a good movie when there's literally nothing like it.
Well, But even then, I was looking more into it. The people who like this say, no, he's done a lot of other movies that are good in the sense this is good anyway. So this still may not be a movie I'd recommend, because not everybody is going to go for what this movie is serving. But I don't feel like it's apparently a fluke in his oeuvre.
No.
If you like what he's serving, there's more where that came from.
Sweet. And I don't know, this is the pleasant surprise that we're looking for. This is why we suffer through Indigenous and Unearthed, so that we can find a werewolf in England.
It was so worth it, let me tell you. I don't... Oh my goodness. Again, rephrasing what I said at the beginning, I think I truly did not know what I was stepping into when I was given this opportunity.
You might have gone your whole life not seeing this movie if not for Rank and Review.
Oh yes, definitely. It's opened my eyes in many different ways.
You're welcome.